Astounding love between a husband and wife. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. Proverbs 31:12. Surak Mountain Park is located near Dangoge subway station. It is at the station where members of Serenam Church have been providing free lunch to those at the park every Wednesday for the last 4 years. Only after a while did we realize that only a few of those who were hanging out at the park during the day were no more. Most of them were one of the following: homeless, sick, disabled, or elderly. And they have all sorts of different personalities. We would often see them fight over who would get lunch and eat first. Some of them had no sense of shame and demanded money. Basically, we felt so often that our service was like trying to fill a bottomless pit with water. Rather than feeling rewarded, we would often feel bitter and frustrated. Among those who were old and ill, there was one lady who stuck out. A stroke had left her half paralyzed. When she received a lunch pack, she would silently put it in her backpack. Even when we handed her several lunch boxes, she didn't say a word. She would just turn around and stagger back home with her backpack on her back. Sensing something unusual, I asked for her home address. The next day, our church members and I visited her house to discover a naked old man, her husband, lying on pieces of newspaper and covered under a thin blanket in a shabby room. Newspapers were stuck all over the surrounding walls. We soon learned that he had suffered several strokes and was completely paralyzed. He wasn't even able to speak. The only body part he could move was his right hand. When he was upset, he would use his movable hand to grab his dung on the newspaper and throw it at her. Then she would wildly beat him out of despair, fury, and resentment. However, she would soon calm down and be distressed from her feeling of guilt for having beaten him. And one day, while enduring and carrying on such an unbearable life, she fell. This time, the stroke left her paralyzed as well. She cried out, "He distressed me by drinking and beating me when I was young, and now he's giving me an even harder time by being paralyzed." Watching her sobbing, he also burst out crying. And we all cried too. We didn't see her for weeks. I asked someone about her. Her husband had another stroke and passed away, and she has been ill because she is too heartbroken. The next week, she finally appeared again. She was much thinner and pale. As soon as we saw her, we handed her quite a few lunchboxes. Waving her hands, she refused to take the lunch. "My husband, who would eat this food, is gone now. I don't need to take them home anymore." She shed tears. We all thought she would feel relieved and free if he passed away, but to our surprise, she mourned in great despair. She said, "How will I live now, feeling so lonely?" All of us were surprised by her love for her husband. It came as a valuable lesson that taught us that one must enjoy and share the precious love between a husband and wife while one is still alive.